I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I thought we might kick off the new year 2024 with a piece of olive wood. This comes to us from my friend Dan Archer in Nevada. Dan brought this up to me a couple, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Gosh, it's been a long while, hasn't it, Dan? Along with a whole bunch of other olive wood and other wood besides. And I've turned several pieces of it. I don't turn it very often because I'm saving it till my old age. You know how that goes. But I wanted to turn a piece today. Now this one's not really big. It's about 6 by 7 inches, and it's going to be about 6 inches by the time we get done with it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop. Howdy, let's take a closer look at it. Now I've made this point before, and in fact probably fairly recently, maybe in the last 4 or 5 videos. A lot of people might turn this way. Look at that grain. It's gorgeous. And they might just mount it up, maybe a woodworm screw here, because it's easy. It's nice and flat. Drill a hole, stick it on the lathe, you're ready to go. Well, that's terrific until you look at the heartwood, which is here. This is all sapwood down here. The sapwood is not that gorgeous. You can see it here. I mean, it's nice. You see it there and you see it here. But look at the heartwood. You don't want to be turning away the heartwood. And if you turn it this way, if you mount it this way, you're going to turn all of that away and end up with nothing but sapwood. That just does not make any sense. So of course this will be the top of the piece, and it'll be a natural edge bowl. This did have some bark on it, but it was so loose I just peeled it off with my fingers. There's just a little bit remaining over here, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be gone. What I'm going to do is take this over to my bandsaw, kind of round up the corners a little bit, because there's just no reason not to. There's nothing particular there worth saving. So it's just going to be a round bowl mostly with a natural edge top, but it's going to be like that, inside and out. So I'm going to go saw this up on the bandsaw, round it up a little bit, drill a hole for my woodworm screw. We'll get it mounted up on the lathe and get to turning. Well, now that I've rounded up the ends a little bit, I like what I'm seeing here. This is a very natural side, and over here it's also a natural side. I know you can't see it, that's because it goes that way. It slopes in real quickly towards the center. So I think I might just round up these two ends and leave this an oval shape or rectangular with rounded ends, whatever you might want to call it. I'm going to start out doing that. We'll see how it looks. We're going to be turning at, I forgot, 600 RPM, freshly sharpened 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. Okay, fully round. Still got natural area here. Not as much as we did have, but we do. And over here. I'm going to take some off of this corner, and then we'll move to the bottom to see where our tenon's going to be. Well, now I've lost a lot of my nature. Got a little bit right here, a little bit right here. Alright, let's lay out for the tenon, and then we'll have a better idea what we can do with the side profile. The bottom looks fairly flat, so maybe we can just start here. Well, actually, I think maybe I'll do a recess now that I think about it. The piece isn't that large. I don't need the strength of a tenon. Got a good hole with the woodworm screw, so we don't need the tailstock either. I'm going to use this recess tool to put a dovetail on the side here. That's good. And we'll come back over here and probably use a scraper to clean up the sides. Well, actually, we don't need a base anywhere near that wide either, so I'm going to take some of that away. Well, now I'm afraid I've done away with almost all my nature. Got a little bit here, got a couple of inclusions, that's kind of nice. That side's kind of plain. Maybe I'll just shear scrape. Yep, I think we're going to go with that. Time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex. This is 180 grit. And I'm going to sand all along this top edge, smooth it out, clean it up, make it look nice. And when I'm done with that, I'll switch to my 2-inch disc starting at 80 grit and working up through 400. I'll have the lathe spinning in reverse at 400 RPM for that. And I'll show you what both of those look like as soon as I get my mask on. So that's the general idea. I'll be doing a little bit more of that. And I can do forward as well. And that'll get it nicely cleaned up and smooth as can be. I'll bring it back here in a little bit and we'll put some probably, well, I don't know. See you in a bit. Well, I was going to do shellac on this piece. And then once I started sanding it, I could tell that maybe feed and wax would be the best bet. That's often how I determine what finish to use, is just it's in the sanding process. What's the piece feel like? What's it look like now that it's smooth? That sort of thing. And this piece to me is just crying out for feed and wax, so that's what I'm doing. Howard feed and wax it's called. It's really easy to apply, as you can see. You just put a little on the rag and rub it in. I like to rub it in quite a bit. And it just only takes one coat. You don't need anything on before like sanding sealer. It goes right on the wood. And this piece is super, super smooth. You might not believe it, but if you could feel it. And then once this is on there, oh my gosh, then it's really smooth. It just feels soft. It just feels so holdable. And that's what it looks like. And look at that grain. Oh my gosh. But if we would have turned it the other way, with this as the top, we would have turned all that away. And we'd have this. And that's just silliness, isn't it? Now, I'm really disappointed in myself. And don't feel sorry for me. I'm a big boy. This is not the vision I had for this piece at all, is it? I was just going to turn the ends. I wasn't going to turn the sides. I was just going to turn here and here and make those round and leave these flat as they were. And then I just lost it. I just started coming up here and that just ruined it. Well, it didn't ruin it. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. But it just changed my way of how I was going to turn it. But it's a beauty. Not my doing. Nature did all that, huh? All I did was polish it up a bit. So I'm just going to let this set up here for about 20 minutes. I'll buff it up, turn it around, and I'll bring it back when it's time to start working on the inside. See you in a bit. I've turned the piece around and have the chuck jaws expanded into the recess. We're going to be turning at 670 RPM. Oh, before I continue, I should tell you that this is an area that I drilled with a large Forstner bit to make a flat spot for my chuck jaws to set against, and you can see that they sat right there. And then I drilled the hole for the woodworm screw. So that's what this area is now, but it's going to be a bowl in a minute. Once again, we're going to be turning at 670 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. One other thing, I kind of like this little feature right here, this little branch sticking out. So I might try and leave that. It might make the walls kind of thick. If it looks like that's too thick, then I'll cut it in half. But it's kind of cool on there. About as close as I can get without touching it, and maybe that's okay. It's a tiny bit thicker than I'd like, but not bad. We'll go with that for now. Let's see, pretty close. Yeah, they're just a little bit thicker than I would like, I guess. I'm going to take some of it away, I think. Yes, it still looks okay, and the wall looks a lot better, a little thinner. I'm going to shear scrape the side here a little bit. Now let's see where we are here. We're at about a ½ inch, so we can go another1/4 inch or so. Okay. That'll leave room enough to scrape it. And I'm going to go put a fresh burr on my scraper, and then we'll scrape. Okay, pretty nice. Time for sanding. I'm going to start sanding with my 2-inch disc, starting at 80 grit and working up through 400. I'll have the lathe spinning in reverse at 400 RPM, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. Well, I think you probably can't see anything from that angle. Let me move you. Easy peasy. I'm going to go ahead and sand up through 400. I'll put the finish on. I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll take a good look at this thing. See you in a bit. Be sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, if you're a wood turner and you want to look like you know what you're doing, get your hands on some olive. Because it'll just make you the star of the show. Except it's really the olive that's the star of the show, isn't it? Look at that just gorgeous green in there. I'm so glad I was able to keep this little branch section sticking up there. I saw some chatoyance in here. I think it's over here, up here. I don't know if the light will catch it. I love that area there, of course. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, it's no matter what you make out of it, it's going to be gorgeous. Just can't go wrong. Very nice. I hope you enjoyed the video. This was fun to do. It always is with olive wood. It's so rewarding. Thank you, Dan in Las Vegas, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up, please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. An easy way to subscribe is just click my picture you see there near the end of the video. Your comments are always welcome, and I love reading them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.